that. And I've said that before. I think Democrats need to work on our messaging. We need to learn how to talk to blue-collar voters and some white-collar voters. And I'm not an impeachment Democrat. I'm not like, let's go impeach him. I'm actually waiting for all the facts to come out. I've said that over and over again. But when you look at where we are right now, the fact that Mike Flynn, one of the highest officials in Donald Trump's national security apparatus, has said he is going to work with the special counsel prosecuting or looking into this Russia collusion. I think that's a big deal.
Well,
I think to downplay that is silly.
Wait, no, slow down. Is that what he has said? I'm going to look into collusion with Russia. Collusion about what? The context that we know of took place.
It is a Russia investigation.
Let me just finish my question to you, and then you can inform me of this. What would the collusion look like, potentially?
I have no idea. That's a quote. That's what we're trying to figure out.
No, but this is, I think...
After the election.
It was after the election, so what would they be colluding on exactly?
Here's
Fighting
the thing.
ISIS in Syria?
It doesn't matter. That's the point. It doesn't matter. Well, that's how this started. The whole premise was about the election, but they really don't care about the election. This is about unseating a president.
That's not. I'm sorry. That's not. I have to say that that's just not true, because if you look at all you're looking at the Flynn indictment in a vacuum, and you can't do that. You have to look at Flynn. You have to look at Papadopoulos. You have to look at Manafort. Manafort was indicted for things that happened during the convention prior to the election. Papadopoulos, he was in meetings prior to the election. So before we sit here and say, oh, you can't look at Flynn in a vacuum.
But I'm not saying that. I'm just asking you what it means. What are you saying?
I don't know.
Okay.
And that's what Dana's saying. We don't know what it means. We have an expert prosecutor, the best in the country, looking at this.
What might it mean? Like, what's the worst case scenario?
I don't want to make any assumptions, because I don't know.
What I think...
How are you confused?
They rigged the Sochi Olympics. That's what we're going to find out.
I'm sorry. I don't think there's any confusion to be had here. I think what Mueller is looking into whether or not Trump and his associates talked to the Russians, worked with the Russians, colluded with the Russians.
About what?
We all already know that the Russians engaged in our election and they jeopardized our democracy, number one.
We don't know that.
Yes, we do. The DNI said, and multiple intelligence agencies over and over have said that the Russians tried to compromise our election. That is a fact.
Can I tell you what Trump really is guilty of?
It's not a fact, Richard.
It is a fact.
Trump is guilty of bad judgment. A lot of people told him not to give that very high-level position to Flynn. But this is a very common rookie mistake. Dana, you know this. You're in politics, in that a lot of candidates, first-time candidates. Remember, we're talking about a first-time candidate. He's our president, but he's a first-time candidate. You feel very loyal to the people that brought you to victory. And so I think Trump had a very typical first candidate mistake of giving a job to somebody who was on the campaign who probably shouldn't have had that job. And look, he only lasted 20-some days, so they reversed course right away.
He was lobbying for the Turkish government.
Right, he should not have.
That's totally disqualifying. And I just want to be clear, I'm not defending Flynn. That's appalling. I wish he were being punished for the actual crime.
Thank you.
He might be. But maybe the reason that he's not being punished for the actual crime is for some reason that we don't know.
Well,
and I think that is, this is why this takes a long time. It might be wrapped up sooner than we think. But remember, it was also President Obama who told President Trump, be careful of this guy. Right. It's Sally Yates who goes to them at the White House goes to the White House from the Justice Department and says, I think you guys have a problem here. She gets fired. The president's calling for Comey to go easy on Flynn. That's how they end up with the special counsel. I don't know how all of this pulls together, but it's certainly not nothing. And by the way, I agree, nothing here when you're calling to Russia to say, hey, make sure we have established contact, no problem. Somebody like Mike Flynn, who is a seasoned patriot, 33 years in the military, why lie about that? That's the thing that I don't understand, but he pled guilty to it today.
But why isn't the FBI also...
Because they're threatening him.
But why isn't Mueller also, or do we know if he is?
No, but why the underlying, though? Why lie?
Why lie?
They're threatening him.
Tucker?
So
let me put it this way. Why lie? I haven't the faintest idea, but I do know, having known a number of people who've been busted on the lying to a federal agent thing, and I don't want to appear to be defending someone I just attacked for lobbying for Turkey, but we are vesting far too much trust in the FBI. Do you have any idea what it looks like when they come after you? Do you know anyone who's been gone after by the FBI?
Very well.
I do too.
I was a spokesperson for one for several years.
My question is, I like the FBI and I support American law enforcement, but which is potentially a greater threat to you, Mike Flynn or the FBI? It's not a close call. So I don't think we should just assume that because someone has pled to lying that there's an actual crime in that.
And he said he's a broken man. His house is he's selling his house. His finances are in trouble. These are all very good motivations to, cooperate.
All right. Well, I think we're going to finish that up, right? Okay, much more ahead. Widespread outrage after a 5-time deported illegal immigrant is cleared in the murder